Coming up, I'm going to be talking about how Disney Plus is going to be one of the major 4 streaming services of the future. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. Over the past year, we've seen the streaming wars go into a brand new era where they're no longer looking to try and grab as many subscribers as possible. They're trying to grab as much money as possible, trying to be profitable. And this has seen a massive shift in how the streaming services are working. Instead of the days where they were trying to create as many originals as possible to try and grab as many new customers, they were having really low prices, they didn't have ads, and generally that was all about trying to keep Wall Street happy because they just wanted more subscribers. It was all about growth. Well, that all changed, and now all the different streaming services are now trying to become profitable because it's no longer just a point of having hundreds of millions of subscribers, but if you're not making any money doing it, then what's kind of the point? That's the way that Wall Street is looking at it. So we have seen a massive big shift, and we're now seeing Disney, along with the other studios, all looking to try and make their streaming services more profitable. This has resulted in massive price hikes. We've seen basically Disney Plus go up year on year. Now, I'm not going to lie, that low price that we saw back in 2019, that was never going to stick. It was always about pricing it so low that it kind of got used to it. And we've seen that price rise each and every single year since then. But the other streaming services have done pretty much the same thing. We've also seen them introduce ads tiers. We've also seen them doing bundles with other platforms, phone providers, internet things, etc., etc. And this is obviously meaning now that we're getting to a point where we're seeing some consolidation within the streaming world. We've seen, for example, Paramount got merged in with Showtime. We saw HBO Max merge with Discovery Plus. We've also seen Disney, they've been recently cutting back on the amount of apps that they've got rid of the ABC app. And I'm going to be honest, I think at some point they are going to merge Hulu and Disney Plus together in the United States. No real need to have 2 complete different streaming services outside of the United States. Disney Plus is the main one. They don't have Hulu. They don't need it because all of the Hulu content is just in there. With the introduction of Hulu on Disney Plus, very much made it now that, yeah, you can see where they're going. You can see which direction they're going. It's just taking time, and they've obviously got to sort out that final deal with Comcast to get the final rights and just have full ownership before they can do anything. Now, I definitely think it's going to happen. Whether or not that's in 2025 or maybe even later, who knows? But they're definitely setting this kind of the seeds, getting us all used to the idea of that Hulu content being in Disney Plus. But nevertheless, recently at the Grill 2024 event, media investor Jessica Skansky, who is a co-founder of Eagle Equity Partners, revealed that he thinks we're heading into a situation where the streaming business will be controlled by just 4 streaming services: Netflix, Amazon, Max, and Disney. He went on to say we're in the last stages of the formation of a new oligopoly, which is going to dominate TV and film consumption for the next decade. Together, these 4 streaming services are on the brink, I believe, of great profitability, even if their transition has been hard, and they all complain, but I think they're on the verge of great profitability. He also went on to say that he predicts that in the near future, Disney Plus and the other 4 streaming services are all going to be charging around about $25 per month, and viewers will be able to get like a 4-package bundle, which will be pretty much what they're paying for cable now. And with some of the streaming services expected to pull out of the business, it will leave more subscribers for just those 4 core platforms, but he doesn't think that's going to result in any more original programming. After the latest strike, that's exactly what the streamers all signal to each other. We're cutting back on production, and every trade, every guild, every producer is feeling the effects of that dramatic cutback. Now, there's no doubt about it that we've seen a drastic reduction in the amount of originals being created, not just for Disney Plus, not just for Hulu, but also just for the linear channels. They are just making a lot less. It's not just Disney doing this, the other streaming services and linear channels are doing the same thing. The days of them making 600-700 shows a year, that is long gone. We've drastically been reduced. We're seeing a lot less. Now, in some ways, Disney is being a little bit more smarter with their releases. We're still getting new content each and every week, but now it's being spread out across all of their platforms kind of at the same time. So anything on Hulu also goes on to Disney Plus. Anything that goes on to linear goes onto that as well. And they're also sharing some of the streaming shows onto linear. It just makes a lot of sense. The films go to big cinemas, they make a lot of money there, and then they go to streaming services rather than, the way that they were trying to do it. Trying to chase Netflix was something that, that Wall Street and stuff wanted them to do, but they've pretty much realized that they've been in this business for 100+ years. The system has been working. They have to adapt. They have to evolve. But just getting rid of everything that they've always done doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense when they're still making so much money from linear and also theatrical, but streaming is the future. They can see where it's going, but doesn't necessarily mean they want to just give everything up. Now, with regards to those price plans of $25 a month, I don't think they're going to be too far off that. But I think that's going to be more so for the ad tier. I think, you know, if you want to get ads free, it's going to cost a lot more. But I do think that price point is probably going to be much lower than that to try and get you hooked in with the ad tier so they can make more money from you. You know, at the moment now, you know, you're looking around about $10 in the US for the ad tier. Here in the UK, it's just like $4.99 a month. It's a really good deal for Disney Plus. I think that makes a lot of sense. They're doing these deals because they want to get you in, they want to get you watching TV, and therefore they make money from advertising. And then it's somewhere where they can really grow. We're seeing Amazon doing this. They've all realized now that, you know, advertising is a great way of them kind of funding all of this content. It's been like this for decades. It was basically Netflix came in, messed everything up, and tried taking away the concept of ads. And, you know, because cable was paying for everything, Netflix was able just to kind of carry on. And then obviously you've had a generation that's grown up without ads, and, you know, they kind of expect that. Well, we're not going to be able to get it as cheap as we have. Just disappointing. I think, you know, you might want to look at it and kind of go like, which one particularly do you not want to have ads on? You know, some people might not want to have all of them. I mean, yeah, like I say, $100 for all 4 streaming services. Now that is a lot of money, but you don't need necessarily all 4. But I think we are going to start seeing a lot of consolidation. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Paramount either does a deal with Comcast. I'm not entirely too sure with Max. This guy, he's put it into their top 4. I'm not sure. I could see this one getting swallowed up. They do a deal with Comcast or something like that, because Comcast is in this weird zone. You know, obviously they've got Peacock, they've got Sky internationally. They are still an entertainment company. You know, to me, it could kind of go, you know, maybe Comcast or Max. Either way, I think we're going to see one of those two doing it. Now, Amazon is in a kind of a weird situation, I think, where, you know, they're trying to sell other streaming services, all the rest of it. But I think we're going to get to a point, people aren't going to want to keep paying these $4.99 a month kind of for these low-cost streaming services that don't really have a lot of originals. 1 or 2 shows a year is just not going to let you want to subscribe to these things. I also think like Apple TV Plus, I really think is a really great service. I'm really enjoying Slow Horses right now. But there's some great stuff in there, but it's not pulling in the views. It's not pulling in the money. They've been doubling the price. Now they could maybe afford it, but there's this whole idea that Amazon and Netflix and Apple can all afford to just keep doing this indefinitely without making any money. That ain't gonna fly for long. They are gonna have to make some changes at some point. But yes, I think those 4, I definitely think, you know, Disney Plus, you know, once they sort out the thing with Hulu and have one unified thing, whatever they're doing in India, they've still got some other countries and stuff that they can grow in. But I think getting out that ad tier to more countries will really allow them to kind of grow. And yeah, just get more people who are used to it. I think when they can consolidate, it will make it more stronger. And they'll be in a better, at the minute, it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy of what's on what. And just Disney's, I've been talking about it a lot, about just generally, you know, this whole thing of running 2 streaming services means they can't really fully compete with the other ones. And that's something they need to do. I don't think Netflix is going to be beaten off the top spot at all. I mean, they could do it if Disney really wanted to go in after it and be a lot more aggressive in this once they do merge in with Disney Plus. Maybe they go for a low price point and kind of go for that and just like, look, we need to get to that point where we just want more and more people in it. And that's what they're looking for. They could do that. Amazon's always a little bit of a funny one. They do have some great shows on there. But I think there's so many people that have Amazon because they want the free shipping and all the other benefits that come with it. So sometimes it's kind of weird. Also, like the Apple and also Amazon viewership also includes when people are watching movies or other streaming services through their app, which kind of feels a little bit funny with that. So that's definitely something to be aware of whenever they talk about, you know, their viewership numbers. If you've brought, for example, Deadpool and Wolverine on Amazon store and you're watching it there, it counts as an Amazon view, but technically you've had to pay for it. And in some ways, Amazon does kind of fudge the numbers a little bit more than some of the other ones. But I definitely think, yeah, those 4 are going to be the big one. I definitely think Disney is number 2, number 3. I, again, don't think it's going to beat Netflix, but I think it's in a very good situation. I think, you know, with a combined Disney where everything is filtered into one, you know, when they launched the ESPN flagship, where they kind of, that's available, going to be through Disney Plus as well. You know, and they're going to start bringing all this stuff together. I think they know that in order to become the big one, they can't keep having all of these different platforms. But again, Hulu is a big brand in the US, and it makes sense for them to try and utilize that. But again, I would not be at all surprised if at some point in the future they eventually merge it in. They're kind of getting people used to it. You're used to now to seeing Hulu content in Disney Plus in the United States. Now they just need to move into that final step to kind of, I think, get into that next zone. But yeah, I definitely agree with this media investor, that the fact that, you know, it's going to be one of the big four. That fourth one, to me, whether or not it's Comcast, Max, I definitely don't think it's going to be Paramount. Definitely don't think it's going to be Apple. But let me know what you think of this. Do you agree? Do you not? Would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at what's on disneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe. And I shall see you guys soon. Laters.